Thank you very much for having us. We're really happy to be here. I know that when Deb and Jared both asked if I could participate in this, I was really thrilled to do it. So I'm hoping that what we're going to share with you today is going to be some really great information. As said, my name is Robin Thompson, and I actually work for Advance Local, which is the parent company of Advanced Media New York, Syracuse.com, and the Post-Standard. And I'm here with my colleagues, Jared, who is not on video today because he's having an issue with his computer, as we've all experienced.
You got it.
And he actually did look really good earlier, so he was dressed for the occasion. So it's just unfortunate.
That's right. I put a dress shirt on, and all of my friends call me Jared. So Amy, no problem. I go by Jared. So we're gonna go to the next screen, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of an intro here. So Advanced Media New York, as Robin said, is part of Advance Local, and we are really the 9th largest media company in the country. We're headquartered at One World Trade Center, and we've got divisions in every region around the country, with, of course, Advanced Media New York primarily serving companies who, like us, call upstate New York home. We do have 10 other digital hubs across the country, and in all of those states that we're in, those hubs are the #1 news and information websites serving those states. So, for example, MLive serves the entire state of Michigan. AL.com serves the entire state of Alabama. Also on this slide, you see there the logo for NYUp.com. And we start this site primarily as a travel and tourism site to promote everything we love about upstate New York. And we really have a loyal following. And if you haven't been to NYUp.com, Robin and I both invite you to please check it out. And over on the right-hand side, you see a bunch of our company's digital credentials. We both want to thank the entire chamber for inviting us here today. The majority of what you're going to see today, Robin Thompson has put together. She's got a long history of marketing background, and she's going to be sharing information specifically about Cayuga County. So I'll pass it over to you, Robin.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks, Jared, for that. Just telling a little bit about Advance and our company. And this is not really about us, but do want to give you just a little smidge of something that kind of goes around with what Jared just said. The Post-Standard and Syracuse.com does have a really strong reach in the central New York area and the Syracuse DMA. In fact, we reach a little better than 4 out of 10 combined every single week between the Post-Standard and Syracuse.com. Syracuse.com does have about 7.5 million unique monthly visitors every single month, and about 1 million of them are from the Syracuse DMA, so right here in central New York. While NewYorkUp.com, which Jared mentioned, is really that travel and tourism website, and if you haven't been there, really do go, has about 1.8 million average unique monthly visitors. And most of those are not within the Syracuse DMA. And that is exactly what we want, because we want it to be a place where people can go for information to draw them to come to upstate New York. So about half of those visitors are from other areas of New York State besides the Syracuse DMA, and then also out of the state and internationally. We reach, the Post-Standard, our print publication, which you may be very familiar with, the Sunday publication there, reaches more adults over the course of a month than any other publication in central New York. And we have nearly 1 million social media followers between our Syracuse.com and NYUp.com sites for both Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So we're really engaging with the community and want to be that local information source. So that's all about us. That's not what we're really here to talk about. We're here to talk about you and Cayuga County. And the big thing that I can say is that knowing your audience is truly everything. You want to make sure that you do know who your audience is, who you're talking to, how you're trying to reach people to bring them to your business. And as Jared mentioned, we subscribe to Neilsen Scarborough data, which is data that is done. Neilsen, I think probably most of you have heard of Neilsen. That's who does all of the TV ratings. Has anybody ever been, I don't know if people have audio, but has anyone ever been a Neilsen household? I know we have been. Our house over the last 20 years has where you get a diary and they ask you to fill it out. So Neilsen's a very, very trusted name in audience measurement. They bought a company several years ago called Scarborough that did research more in the newspaper news website area. And so they're now combined, and we use that information. They ask all kinds of questions that really looks at media usage, behavior, demographics, shopping behavior, anything that you might want to know. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to take a look at things in Cayuga County. And let's start with something that's a little bit fun and talk about beverages. We all like to drink items, especially on lovely, beautiful days like this. So I took a look at all of the information for the Syracuse designated market area, which is a 7-county region of Onondaga, Madison, Cayuga, Oswego, Cortland, Seneca, and Tompkins counties. I looked at that, and then I took a snapshot and looked just at Cayuga County and kind of asked the question, what are the things that stand out? What does Cayuga County do that's maybe significantly different, at least 20% more that there's affinity for than the rest of Syracuse DMA? So I did it with the beverage category. So let's start with energy drinks. If anybody's ever drank an energy drink, or if you have young kids, Jared was not one who knew what this was, but Monster is something that in Cayuga County, it have more propensity to drink that than the Syracuse DMA as a whole when it comes to energy drinks. Also took a look at soft drinks, and I was really found it interesting that A&W root beer was the one that seemed to be more, you indexed much higher than the Syracuse DMA. But when it comes to Diet Pepsi just totally rules this area completely. It really, it's just Diet Pepsi is the deal that everybody likes, both in Cayuga County and that whole Syracuse DMA as well. Also took a look at some alcoholic beverages. So when it comes to light beers, Mick Ultra seems to be the winner that, and Cayuga County has more of a propensity to like. And Budweiser is big for just regular beer. Can be. I love that because I'm originally from St. Louis, and there's also that Budweiser plant in Baldwinsville, so that may have something to do with it there. Also took a look at imported beers, and Guinness is the winner there, where Cayuga County has more of a propensity for that than the DMA as a whole. And finally, when we looked at spirits, alcohol, Canadian whiskey was number one, and that Cayuga County found more of a propensity than the rest of the market. So that was just a little bit of fun information that I discovered while looking through this. And I like to say that looking at Scarborough information is sort of like going into your grandmother's attic, and you see all the boxes, and until you start digging into them, you really don't know what it is you're going to find. So let's kind of switch from that fun little what it is we like to drink here and do a little bit more by the numbers and some really specific things. So in Cayuga County, there are 62,000 adults. Now remember, these are adults only, and that's what the survey is based on. And among those adults, the average age in the county is 50. Average household income is about $65,000. I'll tell you, the average age is just a couple years higher than the Syracuse DMA as a whole, and the household income is just slightly lower than the Syracuse DMA as a whole. But we all found that we have a lot of things in common, and that includes our weekly grocery bill. Both Cayuga County and the Syracuse DMA spend about $150 a week on weekly groceries. In the market, there is in Cayuga County about 2.66 adults, or I'm sorry, 2.66 people per household. So maybe that's what drives that grocery bill there. And in addition, the average monthly wireless bill is just under $77. And when I first looked at that, I thought, well, they clearly don't have the wireless bill that I have, because mine is a lot bigger than that, and I still have my 2 adult children on it. So I need to ditch that, I think, pretty soon. When it comes to household, the market value of their own home, the average is just under $160,000. But with that home in Cayuga County, you spent in the last 12 months $2,843 on average for home improvement spending. So that's something important, because that's about $150 higher than the Syracuse DMA as a whole. So there's more home improvement spending going on here on average than the Syracuse DMA as a whole. So that's kind of, you know, gives you a little bit of indicator there. And we also took a look at some media things. And in Cayuga County, you spend about an hour and 25 minutes on social networking sites on an average day. So when you look at that number and you think, oh my gosh, an hour and 25 minutes, it sounds a lot bigger than 85 minutes did, which is how I've looked at this slide before. And remember, when you do a Neilsen survey, it's self-reported. So I suspect it may even average out a little bit higher than that. You can think about your own habits and then think about those of your neighbors, your children, your grandchildren, people that you know, and you can say, well, I know they spend a lot more time than that, but about an hour and 25 minutes is the average. And then when it comes to sports, you all really love your sports. And among those in Cayuga County, 23,000 of you reported that you watch, stream, attend, listen, or follow the Buffalo Bills. So that's about 4 out of 10. And that was a very strong look there for sports. And you'll see later on, we've got some good sports information there. Any questions from anybody so far? Feel free, if anyone has a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. If someone can monitor the chat for me, that would be great. So that's a little bit by the numbers. So let's take a little bit just looking at interests and lifestyle. And once again, I took a look at things when I went into Grandma's Attic and looked at things that made Cayuga County stood out differently from the Syracuse DMA as a whole. So a couple of things here. They're more likely to have children under the age of 2 and also be planning an adventure vacation, such as diving, hiking, rock climbing, mountaineering, something like that. Just one of those little in the grandma's box things that I thought was really interesting. Some of the lifestyle changes that had more propensity than the rest of the DMA, birth of a grandchild or planning to retire in the next 12 months. And once again, we talked about sports. Cayuga County, you all love your sports because there was a very, very high interest in sports. Some of the things that you had a much higher propensity though, even than the rest of the DMA, included high school sports, which we all know is a huge driver of interest. We know on Syracuse.com, there is a very specific group of people that follow high school sports because they have children, grandchildren, neighbors in high school sports. Minor league and NHL hockey was also very high here. And I noticed that in quite a few things that had to do with hockey as well, including some specific hockey events such as the NHL All-Star Game and Winter Classic, which you ranked really, really high for. So that was something you don't normally see. Professional wrestling and the NBA, both extremely high and higher than the DMA as a whole. And I also found that many, many sports teams were being followed on social media more so, which kind of ties in with that 1 hour and 25 minutes of social media every single day. So a lot of interest in sports, and that is a big driver of what local news media do, and being able to provide that detailed high school coverage or coverage about your sports in the area is really, really important. So let's go back and look at a little bit more about how, if you have a business, how some of this information might be able to help you. And I'm going to stick with home improvement just because home improvement was just such a great category to focus on. And one of the questions in Neilsen Scarborough is it asks people, it asks them, you know, how much they spent on projects previously, but it also asks what they plan to do in the next 12 months. And I will mention that the study that this takes the information from is a half pre-pandemic, half pandemic study. So for the 12-month period, a portion of it was part of the pandemic, a portion of it was prior to that. So if you remember, we talked on a couple slides earlier that Cayuga County spent about $2,843 on average on home improvement projects in the last 12 months. So you all are good spenders when it comes to home improvement projects. So looking at what people plan to do in the next 12 months, you can see here on this bar graph, it gives you a lot of different home improvement type of projects. So for example, you're looking at something like carpeting or floor covering. About little less than 5% of the adults in the market said yes, they're planning a carpeting or floor covering project during the next 12 months. About 6.5% said that about exterior paint. So you're probably saying, well, what does that really mean? So the 6.5% represents about 4,000 adults in Cayuga County who said, yep, I'm planning an exterior painting project. I know that was the big project that we did at our house last year. So if you're a business that you do exterior painting, you know, here's kind of the market size that I might have a potential to reach. And it's a small number. So you want to make sure that you have the ability to try to reach the people who are doing those home improvement projects, or make sure that your message is delivered so they know who you are, they understand your brand and your message that you do exterior painting. So when they choose to do that, they're ready for it. I think that's one of those things that's never more important than when you look at the number there for plumbing. Because I kind of looked at it and I said, oh my gosh, it's such a tiny number. And then I realized, well, no one ever plans for a plumbing job. That's one of those things that happens in the middle of the night or Saturday night at 10 p.m. when there's no plumber available. So that makes it all the more important. If you are a plumber, you want to make sure that people know your brand so they know who you're going to call. But it just kind of gives you a little bit of idea in Cayuga County, you know, they're small, thin markets. And I think we've used that, the thin market concept in marketing over many, many years. So that looks at Cayuga County, but if you're a business in Cayuga County, is it worthwhile for you to expand your market to try to see about bringing people into Cayuga County or doing business outside of Cayuga County? You know, that's where you're able to reach more people. And you can clearly see this in the home improvement information. I took a look at the same little snapshot then, and Cayuga County is still the orange bar, but I've included Onondaga and Seneca counties. And you can see that Onondaga County has a much larger base of adults. It's got about 6 times the number of adults in the county there as Cayuga does. But so when you look at their percentages, it's going to be a larger number. So that can create an opportunity for someone who's doing that exterior painting or doing something that's got a very, very small number of people available who are interested in that project. And then the same thing with Seneca County. It's got a lower number of adults. You'll see some higher numbers. So for example, when you're looking at that landscaping, 11% of people in Seneca County said they were doing landscaping. That's going to be equivalent to around 3,000, little under 3,000 adults who said they were doing a landscaping project. But it just shows how you can kind of take a look at numbers and see where that might fall. And I know there's a lot of people who are not numbers people. So I did a slide that makes it in words. So here are the top 5 projects in each county that people were saying they plan to do in the next 12 months. And here's where you can see the differences. In Cayuga County, exterior painting was number 1, behind carpet and flooring, landscaping, remodel your kitchen, or some other improvement. Whereas in Onondaga County, remodeling bathrooms was a number 1 project. So if you do a lot of bathroom remodels and you're located in Cayuga County, you might want to expand the area that you advertise a little bit so you can pick up some more of that bathroom remodeling. And then the same thing with Seneca County. You can see it's a little bit different too. Heating and AC tended to be that number 1 position. So it just gives you an idea that it is a very thin market, but by being able to expand your market, you might be able to pick up additional customers or bring them into the county, you know, for whatever it is that your business is. So that's kind of home improvement. Wanted to take a look just a little bit with financial, because I know we had a lot of banks and financial institutions who are members of the chamber and often attend this. So I just took a look at financial investments. And if you remember earlier, we talked about how young children and high school sports and retirement plans were something that were important in Cayuga County. So I wanted to look at that and take a look here. These are the financial investments that people said that they had, and they actually have these investments, not that they're planning them, they actually have them. And you can see that at the top there, that a 401k plan, about 42% of the adults said yes, they've got a 401k. Another quarter of them have an IRA. There's people who actually have second homes or real estate property. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting, if you notice that 529 plan college saving plan, just less than 7% of adults said they have that sort of college savings plan. But what's really interesting is that 24% of the households in Cayuga County have children under the age of 17. So there's a big gap there of people who have children who are probably, you know, maybe planning on going to college. They don't have those savings plans. So that might reflect as an opportunity for someone to make sure that they're communicating the message, you know, about college savings plans, if that's something that they offer. And when you take a look in general, that only about 2/3 of the Cayuga County residents are have any investments. So you can look at that. Is that high or is that low? That provides an opportunity for someone to do an ad campaign that maybe talks about why investing is important. And so there's just a lot of little information that you can kind of grab from this that makes it interesting to be able to take a look at. And that's why I do love Scarborough. Like I said, it's like in grandma's attic. So just a couple of things to remind you, or a little takeaway from what I presented here. And there's tons more information. And if there's someone who is really interested, hey, is there any information on my industry, my business? Reach out to Debbie Feely, whose name and contact information is at the end of this. And she'll be able to get the information, check in with me, and see if we've got something that might be appropriate that could be helpful to you. But here's a couple of takeaways. I always like numbered takeaways. First is you want to focus on the right audience. So if you're identifying who your target market is, regardless of what your business is, make sure that you're reaching the people that you really do want to reach. So you can focus any advertising budget, marketing budget that you do. It's going to be able to go after the right people. So you're going to have a successful campaign. Second thing you always want to do is you want to show customers what they want. And we didn't talk anything about creative messaging, but I just think this is such an important thing that we sometimes neglect when we're talking about doing any kind of advertising program. You want to make sure that your creative message shows people what they're looking for. And what do I mean by that? It's like if you're advertising to people who like red dresses, you want to make sure that red dresses are in your ad. If you're advertising, maybe you're a destination and you're advertising family-friendly activities, you want to make sure that that image is in your advertising, that there's families doing something that gives them a reason to stop and look, because we all have such short attention spans. There's so much bombarding us all the time, and it really becomes, you know, grabbing your attention immediately is what you really want to be able to do with that. Next thing is you want to remind customers what you offer. If you're doing a digital, doing any kind of digital marketing and you have a website, if people have been to your website, if you decide to do a digital campaign, you want to make sure that you do something which is called remessaging, which is you can send ads to people who have already been to your website and send those back to them. It's just a great way to remind them if they've already been there. I'm sure you've all experienced that if you've ever gone to a website and then suddenly you start getting bombarded with their ads. Zappos shoes is the most famous one of that. It's literally within seconds. If you look at a pair of shoes, stick it in there in your cart. If you haven't purchased it, you're going to suddenly be getting ads for those shoes immediately. But that happens. It's a great way to be able to market to people who are already interested in what it is you have to offer. And finally, what I call the bonus thing is slow and steady always wins. You always want to look at whatever you're doing, marketing, advertising, is that it's a comprehensive strategy, that it's not just, I'm just going to do this for a week or a month, that you have something that's planned out over the course of the year to help deliver your brand message and what it is you do. So you can attract customers in those downtimes and, you know, those uptimes of business. I think we saw that really during COVID, where people who continued to advertise, it was not nearly as high of a hill to climb as we're coming out of COVID and they were opening back up. And if you've got a media partner that provides you regular reporting, that allows you to be able to make adjustments to any campaigns. So you're really getting the most bang for your buck and that you're not wasting your money, you're spending it on the things that you should. So those are my couple of takeaways here. And as we mentioned earlier, we have a new tool that can help your business, which is our Syracuse.com self-serve ad manager. And I'm going to turn this over to Jared and let him talk to you a little bit about this. And then we'll have a little video that you can see, and we'll be happy to answer questions then afterwards as well.
Thanks, Robin. So again, as Robin said, Syracuse.com has launched a self-serve digital ad tool that gives you local businesses the ability to create effective advertising that runs alongside our content on Syracuse.com. You know, if you're interested in reaching Syracuse.com readers, this tool is a great way to bring our readers to your business in Cayuga County. So we're celebrating the debut of this new self-serve tool by giving you the opportunity to run your first marketing campaign using the system at 50% off. Now, when you first come to the site, and we'll have this link and we'll share it with Amy, you'll push it out to you. You're going to see, use this code to get 30% off your first campaign. But because we were invited here, we're going to give Cayuga County Chamber members 50% off. So again, that's buy one, get one. To activate your account and receive this discount, you're going to visit this tool and you're going to actually put in a campaign code that we're going to share with you, but you need to start it no later than June 30th, 2021. So you got a little bit over a month to get this started. Building the campaign is really quick and simple. We built this for all of our markets to be self-serve and easy. So if you want to do, you know, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're in charge of the marketing for a company and you got to get something started, you can go online, not speak to anybody, put everything in, get it started, and get real-time reporting on how it's performing. So it's simple. You're going to choose the type of digital ad campaign that you want. You're going to select your desired audience. You're going to get a budget. You're going to either upload your own creative that you might already have, or this platform allows you to design your own ad. So you can pick the headline, the font, the color, add artwork, say, yep, this is the way I like it, and have that run. If everything looks good, you're going to put it in your cart and you're going to apply the promo code B1G1GR, or buy one, get one, Jared and Robin. So that means B1G1GR.
That's the secret code.
That's sure the secret code.
We'll push that out to you.
And that's it. Your ad's ready to be shown to our potential customers for you. And the best part is, again, you're going to have real-time access to how your campaign's performing. So we're going to not take you through the whole thing of doing it. Instead, we have a very short video that kind of shows you everything. So Robin, if you could share that video.
You bet. That was a great overview, Jared.
Thanks.
And let's just get to the video. And here we go.
Americans are spending more time online than ever before, so it's important for local businesses of all sizes to advertise online in order to reach potential customers. With our Ad Manager tool, businesses can easily create effective advertising that runs alongside trusted, award-winning content from the area's #1 news and information website. Building your new campaign is quick and simple. First, choose the type of campaign and what size ads you want to run. Then, select your desired audience. Set your budget and schedule, and either upload your own ad creative or build one right in the tool. If everything looks good, add it to your cart and check out. That's it. Your ad is ready to be shown to potential customers while they catch up on the latest headlines. And the best part? You'll have access to real-time data showing just how well your campaign is performing. Your customers are on Syracuse.com. Your ads should be too. Sign up to start reaching new customers today.
Just a follow-up for this is what Robin showed earlier. She was able to show you what was happening in Cayuga County, but also show you what was happening for like home improvement in Onondaga County. So if you're looking for our readers to come into Cayuga County and to use you for business, this is a great tool for you to use. And we both want to say thank you very much for taking the time. We all know how busy you are. We all know that lunchtime you want to be outside in the beautiful sun. We just want to say thank you for inviting us here today. Again, if you have any questions in Scarborough research, you want more information on, particularly to your business, reach out to Debbie Feely, and there's her phone number and her email address. Debbie will contact Robin and get back to you. If you have any questions on the self-serve tool, again, Amy's going to send you out the link to the self-serve tool along with the promo code buy one, get one, GR, to get 50% off. And then you can contact me if you have any questions. And there I am on the screen. Thank you.
Thanks. Are there any questions that we can answer? Or
was one in the chat. Jess, did you grab that?
I don't see it. I don't think I'm logged in here.
There was one.
Here, Amy. Did someone send it just to you?
I don't know.
I sent Amy a comment that says she needs to drink more wine.
Oh,
We agree.
What, you
Here-
no Canadian whiskey?
I
Here are
do
a couple questions that just came in. Yeah. Maria wants to know what specs are the online ADS.
The specs in order to, for the ads to run on the self-serve platform, the specs, they're right there. So when you log in and you go, it will tell you the specs and it'll say, this is what you need, in order to, if you have ads, these are the specs. It's right there on the site. Off the top of my head, I don't have it. I apologize, I don't have it, but it's all there. So if you have your creative already there, you want to run a campaign, it tells you what the ad specs are. I think it also can take one and adjust it in order to fit our needs. And it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But thank you for
Assuming
asking.
they're standard IAB sizes, like 728 by 90 for a leaderboard,
Yeah.
300 by 250 for a rectangle.
Yeah, and but it tells you.
But it'll give you specifically in there, that's what you need.
Right, and it'll tell you how big it can be based on the creative and everything else.
Any other questions?
any other questions? Now, you guys had a giveaway too. Is it, oh wait, what are the costs of ad campaign?
It can be anything that you want. So we just had someone call us the other day from a doggy daycare center, and it was $500 that they had for a digital campaign. And we said self-serve tool would be great for you. So we did remind them that they could pick their audience, go after homeowners, go after people that actually had dogs, in whatever county they wanted to be in, and then make sure that they ran it for a short period of time, because $500 over a long period would be a small amount of impressions being delivered each day. So I said, I'd recommend you doing that over a 2-week time period. And they went in, created it, everything went smooth, and it just got started the other day. So you can go anywhere. So it can be from 250, 500, 1,000 above. It can be anything that you want. You're going to set your budget. So you're going to have that 50% off code. So if you have a budget of $750, you can go ahead and create a $1,500 campaign, put in the 50% off coupon, you're actually going to pay $750. So it's really going to give you a good opportunity.
Yes, use the secret Jared Robin 50% off code.
We had another question. Let's see. Are these ads also used for B2B products and services?
Is the tool set up for B2B audiences, Jared?
It's not yet. It's more
Not
for
yet.
it's not yet for
B2B.
B2B.
Okay.
But it's being set up for that. So that should happen probably in the next 3 weeks, and you'll be able to select an audience for B2B.
So stay tuned for that.
Any
Amy,
other questions for our friends here? And do you guys have any updates, Advanced Media? Do you have any updates that people need to know?
No, we just hope we met your needs of what you wanted to see today, Amy. So we wanted to make
No,
sure
this was great.
Okay.
I think this is a great tool for small businesses and nonprofits like mine. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using this.
Oh, thank you, Maria.
Terrific, Maria. Thank you.
Great.
And that's the reason we have this, is because it does fill that need there.
Yeah.
So terrific.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you guys so much. And like I said, we're going to have this up on the Chamber YouTube. And if you have any questions, I'll forward you, Jared, Deb, and Robin's email. So if you have any questions after the fact, you can contact them directly and ask them.
Great.
So,
Right.
all right, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy this beautiful afternoon and this beautiful week ahead.
That's right.
Thank you.
Go enjoy a beverage.
Yeah.
Here's to you.
Thank you
Cheers,
so much.
right? All right,
Bye-bye.
guys, thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You
Thank
too.
you, everyone.
Bye.